Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about Love Island UK, Season 11, Episode 25.
Listen here, I need y'all to subscribe, like, share, comment. We are finally at Casa. You ready, Blair?
I'm ready.
Walk us through this.
So the guys are talking amongst themselves at Casa, saying who they have an eye for. Hugo has a thing for Jess. Blade likes Grace. The girls are doing the same. Uma says she's only concerned about Will and only has eyes for Will.
It seems like the girls are a little hesitant.
Very hesitant.
The girls are a little hesitant. The guys are ready to pounce on who they want to talk to. The girls are kind of like, okay, we go slow and steady this.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
So back at the villa, Sean is talking to Joey about how he trusts Matilda, but he's still on edge because he doesn't know what's going to happen at Casa.
Yeah.
Joey tells him not to worry about it and to put his trust in his coupling.
Listen here, Sean, this is just, you're just a boy who's insecure. Right? You and Matilda don't even have a long enough connection for you to really be worrying the way you are worrying. I think you just concerned because you finally got a relationship and this basically about to be gone.
Possibly. So back at Casa, Jess is talking to Hugo. He's asking how is she enjoying herself. She's saying that she has her wall up. Hugo tells her that he fancies her and asks, so are we going to share a bed?
Straight to the point.
Well, it's bedtime at the villa. The boys are getting ready for bed. Kieran tells Sean to not listen to those doubtful thoughts and just rest.
Listen here, that's true.
Yeah, back at Casa, Lionel and Mimi are chatting. Lionel asks her, what do you look for in a relationship? She says someone to take care of me because she's usually the one who takes care of the other person. He then asks her, is it possible for her head to turn? And she tells him no. Most likely it will not.
Listen here, I like her straightforwardness. Of course, Lionel is initiating the conversation with Mimi because Mimi is not going to initiate any conversation. But the fact that she's like, I want someone that basically will take care of me because I'm usually the one to take care of somebody else, as well as she's basically letting them know, like, hey, you got an uphill battle, if a battle at all, with me.
Right.
Dude, you get what I'm saying?
So Blade and Grace are talking on the daybed, small chatting about things that she likes, pros and cons. They both are sharing laughs, so they're vibing pretty much.
Yeah, it's good to see Grace finally with someone that kind of like her a little bit.
So the girls and the guys get ready for bed at Casa. While the girls are getting ready in the vanity room, some guys come in and ask, are we sharing a bed? Nicole says she's sleeping outside, and Mimi says that she will be sleeping outside as well to Lionel. Blade says, Grace, do you want to share a bed? And she says yes. So the folks who are sharing a bed are Blade, Grace, Hugo and Jess, Uma and Mosiah, Lionel
is by himself. Alone. Matilda and Jake and Joel and Jesse. Okay. Nicole and Mimi outside like they said they would. My thoughts, I just want to throw in an opinion about Mimi at this point. Oh no, it's kind of early. We only 3 minutes in. Don't bash her.
No, I'm not bashing her, but I'm just like, I think Mimi is really just a one guy type of girl. And Io, to me, hasn't put forth a whole lot of effort into wooing her. I think he was the first guy who actually made her feel comfortable. And honestly, I think that she should give some other people a chance because some other people might actually be a better fit for her. I don't know if Io is or if he isn't, but I'm not seeing enough from him to know that for sure. So, and Mimi, I feel like is just comfortable. She knows him. She's not going to move off her square.
I would say to you, Blair, what side are you on? Are you trying to give Nicole and Kieran the game?
I'm not.
Listen here, man. I don't see who else. I don't see Lionel with Mimi. Like, so my thing is, like, who is Mimi going to basically be there with? I do think there's something to being new on the show in the sense of everybody's on the show. Everybody's not used to being filmed. So it is some kind of uncomfortability for everybody. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So the fact that she felt comfortable with Io, he's been there from the beginning. He's one of the OG members as well as her. So there is a familiarity with them just being around each other, talking to each other, being uncomfortable together, eventually becoming comfortable.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't see any of these other guys want her. I think these guys may be too fast for her.
I think you're right
and,
about that.
And at the end of the day, there's no one here. No one's going to save y'all Mimi, guys. So y'all better just hope that Io get his act together because there's no one here amongst this group of guys is going to save Mimi.
So back at the villa, the guys are waking up.
Yeah.
And the Casa Amor girls arrive. Ooh, so they are here.
Nice wake up.
We've got Lucy, 26, Ruby, 23, Jess, 25, Ellie, 22, Emma, 30, and Diamante, who is 21.
Okay.
Lucy is basically the guys that she's into are Kieran, Will, and Connor.
Okay.
She thinks that Kieran and Nicole have been bickering too much, and Nicole seems to be more into Kieran than he is into her from her perspective.
Interesting.
Diamante has her eye on Will, and Jess has her eye on Io.
Oh, man.
So Emma goes to greet the boys, wake them up, and immediately Joey says, I know her.
I'm tired of you knowing people, Joey.
Joey knows too many people.
Yeah.
Kieran knows Emma actually as well. Apparently, he slid into her DMs and they were messaging at one point. So they all gather around the fire pit and do their introductions. Emma asks who's closed off. Kieran raises his hand. Kieran, they do ask him, so are you going to be sleeping in the day beds? And he's like, no, we're all grown adults. I figure I can sleep in a bed.
Now, my thing is, Io, that's your chance, brother. That's your chance to raise your hand and be like, I'm closed off, man.
But I guess they never agreed. And when they had the discussion, Io said, I'll let you know what I do.
But she's not around.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Yeah.
So Joey says that the Grace situation is finished. He is with Jesse, but both of their options are still open.
Okay.
Io is saying that everything's heading in the right direction with Mimi, but he is still open.
Okay.
Will tells him that things are good with Uma. He is not closing anything off, though.
Very different than what Uma was talking about over at Casa, basically saying, I'm only concerned about Will. I only want Will. She even built herself a little barrier in the bed.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying?
So the Villa girls, they are ready to explore their options.
Yeah.
Io and Will seem to be excited.
Yeah.
Ellie thinks that there's a chat to be had with Kieran, so she thinks she could possibly pull him.
What is that everybody's saying about Kieran that's basically making people feel like he's not really into Nicole as much as Nicole is into him?
I don't think it's anything about Kieran. I think Kieran is trying to be as reassuring and supportive to Nicole as possible. I just think that people see how exhausting Nicole is.
But that's not what they're saying, though.
Yeah, I get that's not what they're saying, but I think that they might just think that because of the energy Nicole has for the relationship of being so paranoid about it, that maybe it seems like she's more into it and he's more chill about this situation.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Because one thing that I've learned is that these bombshells are coming in with basically watching the show like we are.
Yeah.
So they coming in knowing who these characters are. And I'm like, why is everybody, even going back on the Casa side, and the guys are basically saying, Blade was one of them that basically said, listen here, Kieran head will turn. And I'm like, what is it about Kieran that gives off that his head would turn from Nicole when he was the one that said, I love you first?
Yeah, I mean, well, what do you think? Because I don't think Kieran has shown anything really to make people think that. I'm
like, if there's anyone who basically, the only thing I could think of is when he said, I kissed so-and-so because I didn't want to kiss Grace because I fancy Grace. And I'm like, okay, so he didn't even act on what he wanted to do. So I'm like, that's respect to him. So I think they only judging him based off of his age,
right,
his past, but nothing present that he's shown in the relationship that will make his head turn.
True.
You know what I mean?
So Jess and Io get to talking.
Yeah.
And Jess is asking Io like how things are going, and she thinks that he comes across a little bit shy. Io tells her that she's pretty, and they seem to get along and do well in their conversation.
Okay.
Emma and Joey talk.
Yeah.
She says that he is moving mental in the house. Joey says that once he got with Jesse, he learned that there is more to a girl that he wants. Apparently, her last relationship was earlier in the year. Last time she saw Joey was in Essex. I'm curious about what that last time she saw him in Essex was for. Was y'all meeting up? Was it a random thing or was it a planned situation? So,
maybe.
They both are looking at Jess and Io having their talk, and they think Io's head is going to turn. He has been staring at that girl the whole conversation and has been into her the whole time.
Yeah, here's my thing about this situation. Joey's basically over there, not being a true friend in my eyes, right? Because to me, I'm like, why are you talking to this strange girl, basically saying, I never saw Io look like this before. He is basically captivated by this girl Jess and things like that. Do you know Mimi gonna see this?
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like I feel like you trying to paint Ayo as this wild character, as if you wasn't with Samantha, dumped her for your ex, and then dumped her for like a new girl that you just met as a bombshell, and said we got more together with the new girl than you do with your ex. Don't paint Ayo as this crazy madman. Mm-hmm. You're the madman.
You are the madman, Joey. So back to Ayo and Jess in their conversation. She's asking him what his type is, and he's talking about you.
That's his line right there, girls.
Mm-hmm. And he tells her that she's going to be causing problems. She is just going to go after what she wants. And she tells him that she has two people she's drawn to. Then she doesn't necessarily tell him who the two people are, but she talks about law of attraction and manifestation. And in her mind, and what she's manifesting is Ayo.
And she says, I have two people that I'm attracted to, and you're not number two. So he's number one. It doesn't matter who's number two if I'm number one.
Yeah. So next morning at Casa, Matilda is saying, look, we're in Casa. Let's have at it.
Oh, Sean.
Jess and Hugo have a chat. He still wants to chat with the other girls. Jess tells him that the prize is in front of you. Just remember that.
Oh, Jess.
I cringe every time she says that.
I really hope somebody get her. Somebody choose this girl, please.
He feels like they have something there. Their eye contact is pretty strong. He says, maybe I'll get a kiss tonight. And she's like, depending on how you act. Just like, all right, Jess.
Yeah, please pick her.
Grace and Jesse talk.
Yeah. And
Grace is asking Jesse how does she feel about Joey, if she trusts him as far as when the girls go over there. Jesse does not trust Joey. And she's like, look, y'all had something, y'all had a history, and if he does that to somebody who he knows, I mean, I'm nobody. Of course he would do something, if not worse, to me. So I'm glad that Jesse is sitting in reality with the rest of us. The girls can see the other girls at the villa. And Nicole, they're using their phone to kind of zoom in to look at what's going on at the villa. And she sees Kieran having a conversation with a blonde girl.
I don't believe that they can see me from that far. I do not. I'm sorry.
But when we pan back to the villa, we see Kieran talking to Ellie. So he was talking to a blonde girl. So apparently they used to message each other, but it fizzled out. Apparently he had asked her to come meet up with him at some point, but she didn't. And she asked him, do you think it would have been different if I was here? I guess relating to you and Nicole actually being a thing. And Kieran is just like, that's just something I'd never know. And I was like, good answer, Kieran.
I'm about to say, like, why are you asking me to guess?
Exactly.
You should have showed up. You get what I'm saying?
So Grace and Blade are talking. They both enjoyed the previous night. Blade thought that she was a good kisser. It might have went even longer if other people weren't there.
Ooh, what do you mean longer?
And I didn't mention it, but Grace said earlier that she was really attracted to Blade. She felt like he was kind of like the alpha of the group, and just like she liked his face, his freckles, and he's tall and muscular, so she's really into him.
Yeah, she said 6'4" and muscular and all that stuff. I think Joey will be intimidated by this guy.
I think so too.
And the fact that his name is Blade, it gives him an alpha name at least. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, so back at the villa with the guys, Ayo thinks Jess is nice. And Sean says that, it seems like, y'all are having vibes, some situations. And Ayo says that, yeah, we've got some flirting going on. But that's also kind of how he gets along with people. Like, he just kind of gets along with people in general.
Oh, okay. So basically he flirt with people. Okay.
And he says that Mimi brings the calm to him. The guys ask her, okay, well, what about some spice? Ayo thinks that Jess probably would get more out of him when it comes to like laughing and joking around.
Stop right here for a second.
Yeah.
Because I thought, or I would think, Sean, there's a difference in base how I analyze the scene. I wonder, how do the guys feel about Mimi? Right? Because Sean wasn't Sean was basically playing the devil's advocate to his coupling. Ayo's with Mimi, and he's basically saying, look, Mimi is calm, she bring the calmness to me. I like chilling with her, like we get along. And Sean is basically saying, but you may need some spice. So it makes me think like, wow, there's not even a loyalty amongst the OG group. No. to where there's not really a bond amongst the people there, to where people are basically defending or basically trying to defend their relationship. The reason why that's strange to me, because everybody who's been eliminated, now let's add Ronnie and Harriet to the list, they say they are cheering for Ayo and Mimi.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, Sean, what is it? Are you just being dirty? Are you just showing a female's tendency right here? Just basically being dirty in the moment, basically saying you should go ahead for Jess and things like that, because you may need a little spice. Whole time Matilda over here is saying, look, what happened in Vegas gonna stay in Vegas. You get what I'm saying?
True.
So I find it very interesting in this moment. There's no one basically backing Ayo to stay committed to Mimi.
Really? No, none of the guys.
I find it. Now, guys gonna be guys. I ain't gonna hold you. If I was in the villa and Casa happens, the only one that could turn my head is Meg Thee Stallion.
Okay.
Right? If Meg, I'm looking, I don't see Meg. I'm good. Okay? Like that's it. Mm-hmm. So like maybe it's a thing to where, hey, look, we're guys. I can't worry about what she's doing over here, so I'm gonna do what I'm doing over here. But I do find it very interesting that if they supposed to be the it couple, why they are not basically known in the villa amongst everybody as the it couple, you know?
Yeah. I think at least my theory is they're probably too chill. There's not really a lot to talk about when it comes to them. Mm-hmm. So if anything, they just see each other sitting around and laying around and hanging out and stuff like that, but there's nothing to discuss when it comes to them. Yeah. So, but with Nicole and Kieran, there's always something going on with them. Mm-hmm. So, and also their relationship is progressing too. So there's things that Kieran is updating the guys about as regards to their relationship.
Yeah, he did tell you, I love her.
Yeah, but Ayo and Mimi's relationship, I mean, as good and as stable as it might be, it can come across a little bit stagnant too. So
that is true.
Will is into Lucy, but it would be a big thing for him to switch up on Uma though.
Okay.
So Sean and Ruby chat. She thought that the boys would be moving mad in the villa. Mm-hmm. Sean thinks that she's a little bit feisty. Mm-hmm. She has had 4 serious relationships, and she has been cheated on by everyone. He cheated, but he says that he changed, and she does feel like he seems kind and mature. Mm-hmm. Sean has been with Matilda for about 5 days. It's still early days, so he's still open. And she brings up, well, you know, she could be doing whatever over there, and he's of the mindset of, and I'll just kind of have to focus on what I'm doing. Yeah. Ruby is his type, and they seem to have a good chat. I honestly felt Sean was a little bit intimidated by her. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I was reaching by that, but I felt like he was kind of tripping over his words a little bit. Like, I think it was a bombshell of a girl that he kind of didn't know what to do with, to be honest.
Sean do come off as a cheater, but not a cheater in the way of as you would say Ronnie or even Karen in that way. Like a
player.
Mm-hmm. Not like a player. Like Sean is not a player. Sean comes off as a guy that just has no discipline. To where like if you put a cake in front of him, can you be certain that cake will still be there if you basically say don't eat it? Sean just comes off as someone that's not disciplined compared to someone that goes out seeking, the cake,
Right. So Ellie and Trey talk. Okay. She has her eye on Trey, Will, and Kieran. Yeah. He says that he's into Ellie as well as Lucy and Emma. Okay. But Trey thinks that Ellie and him have a vibe going.
Listen here, you might as well invest in Ellie because Jess over there at Casa, she already got the ick about you, brother.
Back at Casa, Jake and Jesse talk. They find each other attractive. He is interested in getting to know her. Jesse thinks that Joey is probably in the hideaway with all 6 of the girls, to be honest.
Okay. Well, let's slow down, Jesse. Joey is not that type of bachelor as he may portray himself to be. The real guy who they voted off the island, who will be amazing at Casa, is Ronnie. Turbo, long live Turbo. Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
No, I feel like he would have been a bad influence on the guys. He'd be like, do what you want, man. Take her to, what is it called? The hideaway.
Listen, and Turbo's not even allowed. Turbo just gonna be chill. Yeah. He just gonna be chill. That's all. Long live Turbo.
Yeah. But Jake is saying that if the right person is here, like eventually he would like to settle down and have a girlfriend. Okay. Blade and Nicole chat. He likes Grace, but he is still wanting to get to know everybody, including Nicole. Okay. Nicole's only concern is about what he said in the game, talking about Kieran. She said, why was that your opinion that Kieran's head would turn? Blade just thinks that Kieran is younger and immature, but he says, I haven't met the guy, though. Like, what do you think? So Nicole says that she is closed off. He is her person, but she doesn't know if she is his person. And honestly, I don't think there's any convincing Kieran can do to make her believe that. I really don't.
And here's what I'm confused about. Blade is watching the show. That's why he has all the intel about Kieran. How do you look at their relationship, Nicole and Kieran, and say that he's the immature one?
Honestly, I think that also might be a little bit of game as far as Blade finding his way into the villa, trying to kind of make Nicole feel like her relationship is a little bit unstable.
Through Nicole?
Yeah, by saying like, yeah, I'm not too sure about Karen Nicole.
But my thing is, but he already got away, in my opinion, through Grace. So why?
Because he is, like he said, he's chatting everybody up, and I think he's trying to get multiple options available of who might pick him.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
He's working on
trying to make it in
on probability, on numbers. Or whatever.
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully when he gets to the villa, if he gets to the villa, he comes back and say, "Yeah, actually, you're the immature one."
Okay.
And then he goes amongst his.
Then he tells the truth.
Yeah, exactly.
So Lucy and Will talk. He asks her what her type is, and she says pretty much just somebody good looking, ambitious, a good communicator.
Yeah, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Just a little banter.
Sure.
When someone says, now that you're actually with someone, right? Because, of course, this is a question that everybody asks when they're dating. But now that you're actually married to someone amazing, I must say.
Yeah.
When someone asks that question, what is your type? What is the answer? What is the right answer to that question besides just somebody good looking? Like, what is the right answer now?
I think some people do have actual types, whether it's like a certain race that they like, or a certain height or body type, or, I think that some people do have actual types. But for me, like, I don't think saying like good looking is like a bad thing to say, because maybe you don't have a particular size, shape, or color that is your type. Like, you just want somebody that you get along with and you have a good time with, and they could look any kind of way as long as you find them attractive.
So you think good looking is actually a good answer? And when like somebody say, what is your type? Oh,
if you don't have one, yeah, because not everybody has a type.
Yeah, but I'm saying as someone who is basically, now that you actually got to know a person in depth, what would be a better answer to say than good looking? Like,
and my answer is that for people who have a type,
I'm talking about you.
Me?
Yes.
I don't have a type. So I wouldn't say my type is 6'5", 250 pounds, whatever the case may be. Like, that's not my type. I could go for somebody skinnier. I could go for somebody shorter, as long as they're not shorter than me. Like, that, the physicality, as long as I find you attractive, that's fine for me.
Yeah, okay. So let me answer the question, right?
Answer it how you wanted me to answer it.
Right.
Okay.
The way I see it is saying that you want someone good looking, especially on a show like this, is not a good answer to the question of what is your type, or basically what do you want, right? So far, the only good answer I heard was a good communicator, right? I would think somebody would say someone who is ambitious, someone who is basically a good communicator, someone who's honest and things like that. But basically people are saying like, oh, it don't matter as long as you're good looking. When we have seen throughout the show, people who not talk to the black people, or people who only talk to the black people and things like that. And I'm just like, nobody is basically saying what is their type or what they want.
Well, see, when I think of type, I think of physical.
Okay.
I don't think of like what kind of character would you want your partner, what would you want your partner to be like? I think of that different than saying what is your type. To me, type is purely physical.
Okay.
Yeah. But Will tells us his exact type, which is petite and blonde. Uma is not his normal type, but they get along and he's attracted to her, but he's open to other people, and Lucy is petite and blonde.
So he's only open until he finds his type, you think?
What do you mean? He's only open until
because he's basically saying, he said, I'm with Uma. Yeah. Right? Uma is not his type.
Right.
But do you think he's only open until he finds his type?
And then he'll be closed off with his type?
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, why? Like, if he's into Uma, who is not his type, why would he basically say, well, I'm open, but basically he's talking to a girl who is his type? Mm-hmm. So do you think if he was to get his type that he'd be closed off?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. No. Because I don't think that he's so much into his type that he would be closed off or turned. I think that he probably finds Uma attractive enough to eventually be closed off with her. So I don't think that is as big a factor for him.
Okay.
But what do you think?
I think if that's his type, petite and blonde, I think even if he was closed off with Uma, he would go after what his type is.
Okay.
And things like that.
So, Io and Jess talk. She's putting on sunscreen and he's just staring. And then he's asked her, should I help you? And apparently it was a joke, but I think he was a little bit serious to him. So she's trying to think of who else she wants to talk to. And she tells him that at the moment she feels most gravitated to Io. And he's just like, I hear you. He says that he's here to find what he's looking for. And she says, you know, he's here, Mimi's over there. Like, it would be mad for him to be sitting here wondering what she's doing and not doing anything himself. He thinks that there's a lot of fun to be had here. And he tells Jess that she is his cup of tea.
But everybody's your cup of tea, Io. Literally, everybody's your cup of tea. And this girl is nothing like Mimi, as far as we know. So I don't even understand what he means, where he's basically trying to be serious with Mimi in the moment. And then on the other hand, when Mimi gone for less than 24 hours, haven't even been 24 hours.
True.
He basically said, I think we're here to have fun, and you are my cup of tea, and things like that. Like, what did you think of that scene?
To me, it just seemed like Io was here for a good time. I don't think that he's going to choose that girl over Mimi to have her stay in the villa. But I do think that he's going to get the most out of his time with her here and then go back to Mimi.
Was that the end?
Yeah, that's the end.
Now, question. Based on how Casa goes, right? Will Mimi ever know what happened over in the villa while she was away?
If she stays, number one, if they're honest and they talk about it, but there is something called movie night to where you can kind of see the things that were said and done when you weren't around.
The camera, the eye in the sky.
Yeah, so if she makes it to movie night, she'll probably get to see some of the things that happened while she was gone.
But in the moment, it's basically two separate shows right now. They should go have their own games, their own things that's going on at Casa, and what they all going at the villa. And it's at movie night where basically it's the eye in the sky that basically show what happens while you was gone, if they make it that far.
Right.
Whew. What do you think that eye in the sky, how do you think Mimi's gonna feel about that eye in the sky so far with just this early with Io?
She's not going to feel good. She's not going to feel good because I think she wants to be all in with Io and she wants to be closed off, but he's just not there. He's just not there. I honestly don't think Io is ready for a relationship. Like, to be completely honest. Period. I think that he really is just enjoying himself and enjoying the moment. Even with Mimi, I feel like he's enjoying her here for right now. But on the outside, I can't see him coming to see her and going out of his way. Like, I don't see it happening.
I think it's, from a guy perspective, this is one of those moments to where, imagine you go to college. Imagine you, you go to college. It's supposed to be a time where, as a guy, you're supposed to taste every flavor, experiment and things like that. Basically, you're an adult for the first time. You're out doing your thing. Imagine the first girl you meet is your wife. Right? As a guy, you kind of know, I'm not saying it's a magical feeling, but as a guy, you kind of know what kind of goes well with your life and with your personality. So imagine he just met Mimi and he's just like, yo, this is the first night. Based on our conversation, I came to Love Island to basically have fun a little bit. This will be my little college experiment and stuff like that, experience. So I think it's not so much that he's not into Mimi. I think he do like Mimi. But I think when he said Mimi basically fits well with my personality, she's calm. He's like, I already met my wife. So I feel like, unfortunately, this sounds kind of mean to say, I can put her on the shelf. I can put her on the shelf. But I'm on Love Island. I'm supposed to experience Love Island. I'm supposed to experience Casa and the villa and stuff like that. So I think when it came to Uma and now this new girl Jess, he's trying to get that out of his system because he's like, I know I got Mimi, because Mimi is the person for me. But that sucks that I found the person for me on the first night. I would have hoped I would have found her later on.
And I hear you saying that, but I haven't felt any inclination that he feels that way.
Not a little bit.
None. There's nothing that he said or done to make me feel like Mimi is somebody who is his person. I think that he likes what's in front of him, and when the next thing comes in front of him, that's who his focus is on.
Wow.
I really think that it's what is it, object permanence? You're out the way and kind of out of sight, out of mind.
Well, at least for me, I'm happy. I'm happy I ain't meet someone I wanted to be serious with when I was outside.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Because that would have sucked.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping Io, because they go give me some lashings in the comments. Okay? Because they basically saying, Mimi, you gonna meet your man in Casa. And I'm just like, I don't see any of these guys. Especially if Mimi gonna play it safe. If Mimi, dude, Do you think, and then like we're out of here, do you think Mimi should change her game plan?
Yeah, but she's not going to. She's not going to. She's comfortable. And she comes across as somebody to me who doesn't like to take risk, which is crazy because she's on Love Island. But that's how she comes across.
That sucks then, because I'm like, then to me she's talking out of both sides of her mouth then, because how can you not say you're closed off?
Because he hasn't said it, and if he hasn't said it, she don't want to say it.
But then you sleep outside.
Yeah,
your actions are saying you closed off, but you're saying you're not closed off.
Exactly.
You're talking out of both sides of your mouth.
That's what she's doing.
I need y'all to subscribe, like, share, comment. We'll be back tomorrow with Love Island UK. Okay.
Bye.